Hey guys, how's it going? Like Butter here, and welcome back to another Division build video. First, I want to say Merry Christmas Eve to everyone out there that celebrates Christmas. I am in the Christmas spirit here. Got the entire Santa outfit. If you guys don't know, you can come over here to the premium vendor, and you should be getting 5 free keys if you're playing during this week. And if you open these holiday encrypted caches, you have a chance at getting the Santa outfit. So I get asked a lot on how to get that outfit. But I'm really excited today because today I'm going to be showing you my striker build. Now, I've wanted to show this for like over a week now, but I wanted to continue to test it and make sure that it was the best it could possibly be. I had some feedback on my Nomad video, although a lot of people really enjoyed it. They thought that I could have had some pieces or some stats in different slots and whatnot. But today, I'm pretty sure that with this style of striker build, not only is it one of the highest DPS builds that I've ever created, it's also very, very well optimized in my opinion. So let's take a look at it. I've been getting a lot of requests to show my striker build, and I think it's in its final form, or at least close to it. Now, everyone always says go 9k stamina with firearms. With striker. Everyone says go 9k stamina so that you can get this bonus here up as much as possible. So the 6-piece bonus is every hit increases the bonus damage from striker's battle gear by an additional 1%. This is why you run the 6-piece bonus here. It makes it so that you gain 2 stacks instead of 1 stack, which will allow you to get to 100 stacks extremely quickly. Missing shots drops the bonus damage from strikers by 1% instead of 2%. So on the 4-piece bonus, you used to get 1% for hitting, and you would lose 2% for missing, and you would also be depleting 1% per second. So it was very hard to keep your stacks up. But with the 6-piece striker, it's very easy to keep your stacks up as long as you're hitting more shots than you're missing. And instead it reduces 2% every second, which is like nothing when you're constantly shooting. And then if you go here with the 6-piece actual bonus on the healing side of things, it says every hit adds a self-healing bonus for 0.02% of max health per second. This bonus is increased by 0.05% for every 3,000 stamina. It stacks up to 100 hits. Missing shots drops the bonus by 1, stacks by 1 stack, and the bonus is reduced by 2 every second. So, essentially, how this is going to work is people are going to think, okay, every 3,000 stamina, then okay, I want to build 9,000 stamina. I thought the other way, and I was like, well, how about we just barely get to 3,000 stamina, and then we just go a full glass cannon build after that. Although you're going to see it's not entirely glass cannon. We didn't quite hit 9,000 firearms, but we're running 8,800 firearms, which is quite a lot. But when I get 100 stacks, this build absolutely just deletes NPCs, and it also does very, very well in the dark zone. You guys are going to see that this is more of a PvE build, but it also works in the PvP side of things as well. Although I would make a few very minor tweaks, and we will talk about that in this video. So let's go through the stuff here, and we'll talk about what I'm using, why I'm using it. So for my primary, we are using the Bullfrog. Why are we using the Bullfrog? Well, it's an assault rifle, and it is the highest rate of fire weapon in the game when it comes to the assault rifle class. There's no assault rifle with a higher RPM, and I think that this fits the build really well because the only downside to the Bullfrog is its stability. Now, if you know its third talent, Uncomplicated, you lose damage from Uncomplicated, you get 15%. You lose damage from this if you use accuracy or stability mods. But the good thing about it is that Striker gives you an incredibly large amount of stability with the 2-piece bonus, which gives you 20%, and then you get another 10% from the 5-piece bonus. So you're starting off with 30% stability, and the gun shoots pretty accurate, and we're going to go down to the range, and I'm going to shoot it, and we'll try to, go through quick mission or something just to show you guys the damage output that this is capable of. And it's incredible, like how much more stable the gun shoots with this 30% stability. Now, if you're still having some stability issues, you can always use a different weapon here. I like using the Bullfrog. You can use an LVOAC. You can use a lightweight M4. You can even use a little bit slower rate of a weapon if you feel more comfortable using that, such as, you know, an ACR, a P416, even an AK. I wouldn't recommend using the AK because it's a little bit slower, which means you're going to get your stacks up slower as well. But it could definitely be pretty crazy, you know, having a 100 stack AK. But whatever assault rifle you feel comfortable with, I like the Bullfrog. And for my Bullfrog, I'm basically using crit damage, pro red dot sight, crit damage, headshot damage, and critical hit chance. For my suppressor, I am using critical hit damage, headshot damage, and crit chance. Don't forget, if you're using the FAMAS, you don't want anything in accuracy or stability. So you're going to see I basically avoided all of those stats. Also have crit damage on my underbarrel, small grip, reload speed, and optimal range. And then for my extended mag, I am running 120% mag size, reload speed, and rate of fire. Now, what I would like to have on this would be to have something like this. Like, this is actually even better, I think. 4% crit damage, 5.1% rate of fire. But rate of fire is actually really, really good for this specific gun. This might even be a better one here, but you probably want crit chance on this if I could get one, if I could get crit chance on here. This one looks decent as well, but let me just see if this would be better. Let's run that one as well. We'll use the crit chance. It's a little bit rate of fire, like lower rate of fire, but I think 7 RPM is really not going to make too much of a difference. And then for my secondary, I'm using a custom M44. Why, you ask? Because, well, the headshot damage and the base damage on the custom M44 is incredibly high, and when I'm at 100 stacks, I can hit for close to 2.5 to 3 million on certain targets, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the standard stuff that you'd see on any sniper rifle, headshot damage on everything, optimal range on my underbarrel so that I can hit extremely long ranges. I'm using prepared, so I want to be able to have my optimal range extend as far as possible so that I don't get damage drop off that kind of, you know, offsets prepared. And then also, you know, just a regular magazine, you know, increase mag size and crit chance and crit damage there. Now for my my pistol, I am using, and I gotta put another mag on here, I am using a First Wave X45. Why, you may ask? Well, it's got really high RPM, and it also has a very large mag size, and because of that, you're going to see we're going to be proccing Cool Headed a lot, but I have Toxic on it too. So if you don't know what Cool Headed is, basically when you perform a headshot with the pistol, it's going to reduce all skill cooldowns by 5%. Now there is an internal cooldown to this that is about a second and a half, where you're not going to be able to get 5% every single shot, but like every third or fourth shot most likely. And the reason I'm running this is to get my signature ability back, and it's super, super strong. You know, this build runs absolutely no skill haste, and this makes up for not having any skill haste. All right, let's go right into the striker harness. You can see here my stuff is almost all optimized. I'm running firearms on everything. Spoiler alert, this is a mainly firearms build. I am running enemy armor damage as a major attribute, and health. Health is important. You want health on all of your gear because your healing, even though you only have 3,000 stamina, it goes off of your maximum health, so you want to get as much health as you can. But not only that, you don't want to be super squishy with this build either, because it takes a little bit of time for the DPS to get up to its max potential, and during that time you don't want to get melted before you even do any damage. But this will give you a nice bit of sustain. Now if you're running this for a PvP build, I highly suggest changing enemy armor damage to exotic damage resilience, especially with all the predator builds out there and whatnot. It will help you out. You could also run something else like skill haste here. Skill haste wouldn't be a terrible one, but for this build and the fact that I use it a lot in PvE, I have enemy armor damage in the main stat. But like I said, that's completely up to you. I'm using crit chance mods on everything. I have 1 electronics and 1 stamina here. For my mask, I'm running EAD and the major attribute, of course. Also running damage to elites to maximize my damage in PvE, and also spec'd in firearms. I am running health on my knee pads as well. Like I said, we want to get that health as high as possible. Damage to elites, blind, death resistance, and shock resistance. And for my mods, same thing. Like I said, crit chance on everything. And for my backpack, this is one where I toyed with this major attribute here in between health and stability. Now, the reason I tried having stability is because the FAMAS has such an insanely weird bullet pattern. Like most of the bullet patterns, like the LVOAC, the lightweight M4, you can control the patterns just by pulling down the mouse. But the problem with the FAMAS and guns like the police M4 is that they have weird horizontal stability issues, and putting stability here in this slot really helps with that. However, I felt like I was a little bit too squishy having stability there, so I decided to throw health, and you can definitely feel a difference in that 13,000 health. So I decided to put health back on my backpack. That's entirely up to you. You can change that if you want and do something different. Like I said, try it out, see how it feels, but I think health there is definitely the best in that slot for this build. And then obviously ammo capacity there. Let's go to our gloves. So we're running crit damage, rifle damage, and critical hit chance. So this has some optimization to do. It's got really low firearms, but I've been dumping a lot of div tech into this build because it's one of my favorite builds, honestly. I always tell people don't dump div tech into your builds until you know it's a build you enjoy and a build that you're going to use for many hours to come. And you could have, if you're going for a PvE build, I'm not sure if having 7.5% or I think it's 8% enemy armor damage on your gloves. I think it's 7.5. I'm not sure if you're stacking EAD is going to be more useful than the assault rifle damage, but I like having the assault rifle damage to make up for the low amount of damage that the FAMAS has. Not to mention that's also going to be multiplying with all the EAD you already have, plus once you're getting 100 stacks, you're just going to pretty much melt everything in your way. So that's what I'm running on my gloves. And on my holster, I am running critical hit chance. Now, you could run something else here if you would like. I unfortunately didn't have a choice. I pretty much just had crit chance. I said, cool, I'm going to keep that. And I had 2 garbage rolls here. So instead of having to spend, 2,000 div tech to get it up or whatever it is, 600 div tech, I was like, I'm just going to roll these 2 and I'll just rock with crit chance. So the my critical hit damage is a little bit lower on this build than in some of my other builds. So with that being the case, crit chance here might not be the best, but you could also run like health or skill haste here if you wanted to, but I wouldn't run it if you're not running skill haste on anything else. Like I said, with cool headed, you'll be able to get your cooldowns fairly quickly if there's any type of NPCs around and whatnot. So I'm running crit chance there. Now, of course, on your performance mods, you want first aid, self-heal on everything. This is going to give you a little more boost to the overdose skill that you're going to be using. So let's go over those really quick. I'm using a pulse, and when I use this pulse, I'm getting 10.5% crit chance, which is putting my crit chance from 20.5% up to 31%. And with 31% crit chance and 14% on top of 97% crit chance, you're going to be outputting a stupid amount of damage. And, the damage that you're going to be doing from 100 stacks, considering the fact that you're running, 8,800 firearms, the damage multiplication of this build is just unbelievable. And you don't even really feel that squishy because of all the the armor rolls all the health rolls on your gear. 380k toughness, that's not really that bad for, a glass canny type of build. And then obviously for your signature, this is entirely up to you. This build, I wouldn't recommend using this build if you're running solo. If you want a solo striker build, I suggest, maybe putting in 9,000 stamina. I can see that being a lot more beneficial for you constantly getting heals. But the idea of this build is to do as much damage as possible, be a complete glass cannon, and have your teammates kind of be healing you. The idea is to stay in the back of the fight and just completely melt everything in your way. So let's go over to a mission really fast so I can show you guys the damage output of this. Lexington's usually my go-to. Let's switch it up here and do, the reason I do Lexington is because it's such a short mission. Let's go back to Lexington like always. I just want to show you guys quickly. We won't finish the whole mission, but I want to show you the damage output that this build has once your stacks start getting up there. It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable how much damage you can do. And I've been getting a lot of questions during streams and stuff, people just saying, like, what build are you running? Why do you have so much DPS? So there you go. There's the damage output. It's kind of crazy. You just basically delete everything in sight, and I'll show you guys the gun talents and whatnot. I tend to forget to do that sometimes. But you noticing that I'm running a little bit more electronics than you may think you would have to. The reason for that is cool-headed on the pistol. Yes, I know I could get a 182 pistol and get cool-headed on it. However, I also wanted to unlock competent on my bullfrog to give it extra base damage when I use my pulse, because that's when my burst potential is going to be at its highest, right after I use my pulse. So that's why I'm using that there, and just to show you my talents on my sniper rifle: prepared, brutal, and destructive. So it's just gonna destroy in PvE. But in PvP, like I said, there's only a few very small differences that you can make, and honestly, this build is good in both. Even without the 9% skill haste or whatever it is that you can switch out for the 6% EAD, because the EAD doesn't do like a super large amount in PvP because of reasons, just the modifiers and whatnot. So you just go through here, and you can notice I'm not even really that squishy. I just kind of tank that there a little bit and put that guy down extremely fast. And I personally think that this is like the highest DPS by far of any of the builds that I've put together. And you can see I'm definitely healing a bit as well. Let's pop this here. So I'm hitting for like 200k, something in the head. They probably won't even get out of there. And that's pretty much how it's done. You just, you're getting heals over time, doing tons of damage, and then just to show you the other part of this build, we'll get our pistol out and we'll give you guys some cool-headed action. I'm so tired of forgetting to do. All right, let me go down here really quickly. But I want to thank you guys for all the support on my Nomad build. I've had so many people come up to me and say that they love it, that they've been using it, and it's been helping them so much. And that's why I make these builds, to help you guys out. But remember, these builds are always just a suggestion. People want to see exactly what I'm running. Might there be, better, variations of the things that I choose in slot? Sure, there might be. But this is just the builds that I made, and hopefully it works out for you. All right, let's go up top. I want to show you guys how incredibly sick cool-headed is, and why it's disgusting, and why you need it on your weapon. I just love the first wave X45. I wish I could get one with cool-headed and determined on it. I think that would be even crazier. But I'm just going to show you guys quickly here just how fast my signature ability is going to start coming back here just from getting headshots. So we're already almost halfway. And another thing, a cool thing about Toxic is that you can blind them like that, and it will kind of like lock them from moving, and you'll just get it back. I almost have it back already. And this is really helpful in the dark zone when you fight a team. Let me try to blind them. So it's back now, and then like you can just, I want to show you guys what you can do with the 100 stacks to people, to NPCs. So that was a 1.3 million crit right there. Come on. Alright, let's get these stacks up here a little bit. It's hard to get the stacks up because of how much damage I do, but 1.1 mil. And once you hit some crits, you can go up into the 1.7 range. But anyways, that's my build, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Be sure to drop the video a like if you enjoyed. And if you have any suggestions, be sure to also leave a comment, as long as it's in a nice way and not coming across as a jerk face on Christmas. Why you gotta ruin Christmas, man? Why you gotta be a Grinch? I would be glad to take those comments in consideration. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.